Georgie Morrell is blind in her left eye. For a year, she also lost her sight in her right eye as well. Well, now she talks about her visual impairment as part of her comedy routine. Georgie is with me now. Seems like it would be a natural thing to do, but tricky at the same time, Georgie.
Yeah, it is. It does throw people a little bit to do comedy about essentially disability.
Yeah.
I sort of try and warm an audience to it and get them laughing at me as well as the disability, and that sort of eases them into it. It's the best way to go. Did
it feel like a natural thing for you to go into because you were acting when you decided to make this change and go into comedy? And was it the obvious thing to use for your material?
It actually took a friend to say to me, that's such an interesting story, that's your first show. And it was probably the best bit of advice I'd ever been given. And it did all sort of flow from there quite nicely. And it was a natural progression from acting. And secretly, I always wanted to be a stand-up. But I thought, oh, I don't know if I can. And then lost my sight, got it back, and I thought, you know what, I haven't got anything to lose now. Let's just go for it.
Well, that's the thing. When you lost your sight in both eyes, were you still able to make jokes about it and laugh about it? Because that must have been a bit of a difficult thing.
I'll be honest, at the time, I wasn't laughing my head off every day because it was the grey period of not knowing whether I'd get my sight back or whether I was going to have to adapt to blindness. That was the tough bit, was not knowing which way it was going to go. So, yeah, it wasn't a laugh a minute.
What about audience as well? Are they comfortable laughing with you at your disability, or is it going to be a bit awkward?
It's my job to make sure that they are, or it's not going to be a successful set or show. If I do that, then they're absolutely fine. Some ways as though, I mean, it's not for them, but that goes with comedy.
It goes with any comedy, right?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's all about taste, and everyone's got a different sense of humour. If it's not them, it's not for them. It's fine.
Do you think, though, it can be a decent icebreaker to get us all talking about not just disability but differences by laughing at them?
Yeah, half the reason I do it really is if people aren't talking about it, how are we going to know? And how is that going to alleviate stigmas and this sort of othering with disability if we don't chat about it? And a good way to get that across is getting people laughing and having a giggle.
Yeah. And if it's coming out of your mouth, that's a different thing. I mean, it's not something that anyone can just
it's coming from a place of knowledge, and experience.
Yeah. So just tell us briefly that the show is called A Poke in the Eye?
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm glad you're laughing. It's funny. And you're next performing, well, when and where?
I'll be performing Monday at the Zadell Brasserie in London, and then that show is then going to Brighton, Oxford, and back to Edinburgh with a new show. I'm taking 2.
You're taking 2 shows?
Yeah.
OK. Well, we can laugh at you, because that sounds like it's going to be pretty difficult. Really good to see you, Georgie. Thank you very much for coming in.
No, pleasure. Thank you.